President Matt. It is my esteemed honor to introduce one of our very own, Ms. Dawn Cassulo, as our speaker today. She grew up in Southern California. She moved to Hawaii for her last 2 years of high school. Darn. And then she returned to California to attend the University of Southern California, USC. She remained in Southern California until 2003 when she moved to Peoria. She joined Rotary in 2010. She worked for Deloitte out of college and is a CPA in California. She has worked as an accountant in many different industries such as oil and gas, securities, broker-dealer, investments banking, advertising, 401k planning management, and now property management. Today, she's going to talk to us about a semester at sea program and her semester on a ship. Dawn Cassulo.
Walkout music.
Okay, so yes, I've been around the world. Semester at Sea's official description is a study abroad program which was founded in 1963 and is managed by the Institute for Shipboard Education. Colorado State University is the current academic sponsor, and the program is conducted on a cruise ship. My elevator speech, though, is you go to school on a ship while you travel around the world. So I did this in 1983. Jeffrey, you can play the video. We're going to watch a short video, just kind of a broad overview of the program.
You've decided to study abroad to gain a global perspective, a necessary asset in today's interconnected world. But how can you gain this insight in a single semester? The answer is Semester at Sea. Dating back to 1963, Semester at Sea is the only program of its kind in the world. Students embark our floating college campus, taking courses, doing field work, and visiting as many as 15 international destinations. This once-in-a-lifetime fast track to global citizenship allows you to do more, see more, and learn more in a single semester than any other program. See why close to 60,000 alumni say Semester at Sea was their most significant college semester. Experience the study abroad program that stands out on your resume and has a lasting value for years to come. There is only one.
Semester at Sea!
Your once in a lifetime is now. Why study abroad in one place when you can study in many? Semester at Sea offers a unique and relevant outcome, a global perspective. Instead of focusing on one country, our program investigates multiple cultures, economies, and the key challenges facing our planet. Incredible worldwide itineraries include popular and off-the-beaten-path locations. Visit countries like Japan, China, India, South Africa, Spain, Brazil, and many more. You'll leave the voyage as a global citizen with a passion for lifelong learning and the drive to impact the world.
When Semester at Sea first came to the University of Virginia, I was intrigued because, of course, this is not a traditional study abroad program. But by experiencing multiple cultures, students are able to get perhaps a more varied and deeper understanding of all of the various elements that go into the mosaic of global citizenship and global culture.
This is an opportunity of a lifetime because you can get academic credits and you can participate in cultures that you otherwise would never be able to. It's just fabulous, that's all. That's the only word for it.
Each fall, spring, and summer, a diverse college community of students, professors, lifelong learners, and international experts explores a global curriculum designed by the University of Virginia. As many as 300 colleges and universities are represented on each voyage. All students' majors are welcome. We offer 75 courses in 20 disciplines, allowing you to transfer credit back to your home university. And more than 40% of our participants receive financial aid and scholarships to make their voyage of discovery a reality.
All right, so a Chinese shipping magnate came up with this idea of a floating university and donated a ship back in 1963, sorry. I attended semester at sea in 1983. University of Pittsburgh was the academic sponsor at that time. And now it seems like every college student goes abroad, but 40 years ago, it was kind of unique. And when I learned about this, I was like, I want to go. So as it said in the video, each semester is about 100 days long, 105. You're at sea 50 of those days, and you're in port 50 of the days. Whenever you're at sea, you go to school. And when you're in port, you're free to explore and take trips. You can do on your own, or you can take prepackaged trips. There's 500 to 600 students from all over the world on the ship. And I don't know if you noticed, but in the video, when they showed the map of where they don't go to the United States, usually, because most of the students come from there. There's approximately 30 faculty, and then lifetime learners, which I'll talk about a little bit later. There's spring, fall, and summer trips. There's 70 courses that they offer in 20 different disciplines, and they get faculty from all over the world. So it's not, even though Colorado State is the academic sponsor and that's where you get your credits right now, the faculty is from all over. So it's pretty cool. There's one class that's required for all students, and that's the core class, global class. They have classes every, I don't remember if it was every day, but we would learn about the port that we were going to next. So it was really cool because you got a more of an education about where you were going to. Unfortunately for us, the night before we landed in Turkey, they showed us the movie Midnight Express, which was a guy who got caught smuggling drugs and was thrown into prison. And so it was like, we don't want to get off the ship. I took 3 classes, sociology class, which was youth and society, world art, and then environmental geology. I was a sophomore at the time, so I was still taking my general ed classes. My youth and society class, one of our assignments in every port that we went to was to talk to other college students about their life in their country and what they thought about America and American youth. When we would come back to the ship and get back in class, we had as many different stories as we had people in the class. It was really fascinating to hear all the different things that people thought about us and the way that they lived in their country. When I was in Israel, I went out drinking with some Palestinians that had been educated in America. And it was really eye-opening to learn about what actually happens in the country versus what we hear about here that happens in their country. So as a 19-year-old, you know, it was eye-opening. In Israel at the time, there were soldiers on the street with guns. We would hear the sonic booms from the military aircraft, but we didn't think anything of it. It was just, that's the way they lived. I'm not sure I would want to be there now in some of the places that I went to then, but at the time we were safe. We didn't have cell phones, but there were little phone booth shops that you would go in and you would pay, and they'd assign you a little phone booth, and then they'd call, and when it was ready, you'd pick up the phone and you get to call home. So mom and dad were all freaked out about what they were hearing about what was going on in Israel while we were there, but it was like, yeah, whatever, you know, I'm invincible, I'm fine. I had financial aid and was assigned the only cabin on the ship that had 3 students in it rather than just 2. I was from California. My other roommate was from Colorado and one was from New Hampshire. So we had the whole gamut covered. In some of my pictures, when I look back on it, the New Hampshire roommate was in a t-shirt and I was in a turtleneck and a sweater, you know, so different perspectives there. I still keep in contact with them. We've met up a couple times since then. And then when I started at Deloitte, the CPA firm, I found a girl that started the same time with me was on my voyage, but I did not know her at the time, and we're still friends. So that was pretty cool too. So my voyage was a little bit different than most voyages. Let's see, I'm supposed to be changing the thing here. Hang on. One more. So this is my voyage. I was supposed to go from Fort Lauderdale to Spain, Greece, Turkey, Egypt, India, Sri Lanka, the Philippines, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Japan, and then home to San Francisco. So basically, we went all the way around the world, or we were supposed to. We have these t-shirts made up that have all of the cities on them or countries, and on the front it says the SS Universe Yacht Club. So that was the name of our ship. I can't believe I found this in a box somewhere. So because we weren't docking in Israel, there was an optional side trip to go to Israel, and then the ship went from Turkey to Egypt. So I flew to Israel, the ship sailed from Turkey to Egypt, and upon the entrance to the port of Alexandria, our ship captain was Chinese, the port pilot was Egyptian, and there was a storm, and the ship ended up on the rocks. And it was on the rocks for over 12 hours. So I'm kind of glad I wasn't on the ship, but also I missed that experience by being in Israel at the time. When it finally got to dock in Alexandria, they decided we had to stay there for a week to assess the damage. So that was kind of cool because we got to go to the pyramids and do a whole bunch of different things that we weren't going to be able to do otherwise. So as the ship was sailing to Egypt, we were in Israel, then we took a bus across the Sinai Desert. Well, in the desert, the sand blows across the road and there aren't two lanes, there's kind of one lane. And I was sitting in the front of the bus and the buses kind of play chicken until the very last minute, and I swear I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna die. So we stayed there for a week and they determined that we couldn't go on. The ship was too badly damaged. So they decided that we were all going to go to Israel and stay in a hotel for a month to finish our classes. So I had to get back on the bus and go across the Sinai Desert again, the opposite direction. We packed up everything that was on the ship because we weren't going back. We were only allowed to take one suitcase with us to Israel. And we stayed in Jerusalem for a month at a hotel. And we were there during Passover and Easter, which was a really neat experience. We were offered a discounted rate to take the trip again, if you could, or you got a refund if you couldn't. And since this was my last semester as general ed and I was going into my major classes, I couldn't take another semester to do it. So I opted for the refund. And this is probably only a month, in. I think we started the end of January and this is April. So maybe 6 weeks. And somebody that I met on the ship, she and I decided we're gonna travel around the world the rest of the way by ourselves. So we go back to Greece to get our visas and buy some backpacks. And we went to Thailand, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, and then my home in Hawaii. So we didn't get to do the whole thing, but we still went around the world. My roommates, both of them decided to take another trip. And so they went on the spring 1984 trip and it ended in San Francisco. And since I was in California, I flew up and saw them and got to see them come in. So that was really cool. There was no internet no cell phones, nothing. So because this was a fly-by-night trip that this girl and I were doing, we would fly into the city at the airport, and all those, well, they used to have them, sometimes they still have them, the wooden boards with all the brochures in them, right? We would just go in and we'd just pick every single one of them. We'd find a youth hostel to stay in, and we'd sit and we'd figure out what we were going to do while we were in that city, because we hadn't planned to be in these places. So it was very fun. Also, at that time, we had to send airmail letters, and it was real flimsy paper for those of you that are young and you don't know. And my roommate from college at USC would write me, and they had a list. We received a list of the ports and where they could send the mail. It was usually an American Express office or a travel agency, and the date that they had to mail it by, so it would get there before our ship got to these ports. So then when we got to the port, they would go pick up the mail and they would deliver it on, and that was the quietest you ever saw that ship. Was, we were all reading our mail from home, and because, you didn't call that often and you didn't have any other contact. Let's see. This is the current ship, the MV World Odyssey. They've had 6 different ships since 1963. This ship was built in 1998 and became the ship for Semester at Sea in 2015. It's kind of like a regular cruise ship. It has indoor, outdoor dining, 10 deck areas, a gym, a pool, library, spa, auditorium, theater, doctor's office, and 9 classrooms. I traveled on the SS Universe. Our ship wasn't anywhere near as nice. So it was smaller, and because we started at the end of January, we got to Spain, Greece, Turkey, and it was cold. I mean, I looked at this picture and I'm like, hey, we had a pool. I didn't even know we had a pool, because it wasn't open. It was freezing. There is, here's some more pictures of the whole crew. There's a program called Lifetime Learning, and it's kind of like Ollie. We had Ollie come here and speak. Anybody can go on these cruises. You don't have to be a student. You can go as a lifetime learner, and you can participate in the classes. You don't have to. You can also be a surrogate parent for some of those students that sign up for that. So it's kind of a neat program because you have older people on the ship as well as all of these students. You can take the full semester, or they have a smaller program called a Spotlight Voyage, which is a shorter period of travel. You just join them for a little bit of time. I put a brochure on everybody's table, the Lifetime Learning brochure, if you're interested. Also, you can go to the website, semesteratsea.org, and there's so much information, and there's so much information on YouTube. There's videos that students have put together. So it's kind of cool. It was neat for me to go back and look at some of these videos and remember, what I was doing. This is when we landed in Athens, Greece on February 14th. We got snowed on. Most people go to Greece in the summertime and they see all these big wool sweaters and they're like, what the heck do they need these for? Well, we needed it. On the top left, my roommates are the 2 girls sitting on the left-hand side. These pictures are 40 years old, so they're kind of faded. This is me, 30 pounds heavier, so you probably wouldn't recognize me if I didn't tell you. This is in Giza at the pyramids. Got to ride a camel. They're stinky, stinky animals. And that sign says it is forbidden to climb the pyramid, but of course everybody did and took a picture. This is a future voyage, spring of 2024. They only have, I think, 8 destinations listed right now, but they hash it out and get more. It looks like they're trying to save gas too and not travel around the whole world. The cost of this is what I would consider very expensive. At the time I did it, it was double the cost of a semester at my private university of USC. It was $10,000 for my semester. It's about $30,000 now. And that doesn't include all of your travel when you're in port. So I was, as I said, I was one of the financial aid students, and when we went in port, we'd grab cheese and bread and wine, and that was our meals, and we'd just kind of figure out what to do while we were in port. I didn't get to go on any of the fancy tours. But if you watch any of the videos, they always say that the world is your campus, and it was pretty cool being able to travel around and meet all these different people. From that experience, I kind of got, a lot of people got the travel bug. I got more of a, I want to go and I want to stay and I want to learn about where I'm going and not just see all the touristy things. Because it was really neat meeting all those young people in all the different countries and learning what their life is like compared to what our life is like, and also how they perceive our lives. They also did an episode on the college tour on Prime Video. It's a half-an-hour TV show that they go, it's like college visits. They go to all these different colleges, and I didn't know, but there's 8 seasons, and the 8th season, the 14th episode, they did Semester at Sea. And on the episode, they talked to different students and their experience and why they did it and all the different things. So it was really cool. So that's all I have. Because of our crazy voyage, one of the students on our voyage prepared a book with pictures of all of our escapades in the hotels and the ship trying to get off the rocks and things like that. So that was kind of cool. I've only heard of one other bad voyage. They were in a hurricane off of Hawaii, and the ship was tossed, and there were furniture flying and everything. But other than that, it's been pretty safe, and they haven't had to worry about anything. Kind of like Rotary, we get a magazine a couple times a year, Shipmates, and it talks about, you know, different things that's going on. It's a nonprofit organization, and then it has in the back, you know, what your classmates have been doing, different things, weddings, marriages, all that kind of stuff. So it was really a cool experience. I'm glad that I did it. Is there any questions?
Wow, you are amazing. How did you manage the language barrier? When you and your friend were alone, did you have trouble communicating?
Most people wanted to speak English. So when we were in Japan especially, all of the kids came up to us and they wanted to speak English. And it was the funniest thing because I'm 5'9" and the girl that I went with was 4'8". And so it was just hilarious, the two of us traveling together. And she was from the South, so she had that cute little Alabama accent. But yeah, most people spoke English or they wanted to practice English. We had a tough time in Japan with the subway system, the rail system, because we knew what color we were supposed to be on, but we didn't know which platform for which direction. So we kind of had to wait and see where the train was going and then run up and go on the other side. So yeah. Hi, Scott.
How would a faculty member teach statistics or law on one of these ships? Just asking generally.
So semesteratc.org, contact them because they do take people from all over. And you know, keep this in mind for your grandkids, or if you're retired and you want to do this, anybody can do this.
It sounds like a wonderful way to study. My son decided to study in Manchester, England for a semester, telling me that all the credits would apply coming back. He was wrong about that. But it sounds like a great program. So just to review what it is now. It's $30,000 now for 100 days? 100,
approximately, yeah. Some are 105.
And what doesn't that include? You get food?
You get all of your food and boarding. You have to fly to wherever you're going to take off from and fly home. And then any of the in-port excursions are your own cost.
And financial aid, how does that work?
They give out a lot of financial aid. And I would imagine it's very similar to just a normal college. You know, you apply and they tell you what you get. I don't remember the finance part of it. I swear that my parents talked me into this, but they swear that I really wanted to go. So I'm not sure. And my mom says that I had to pay for half. They said they would pay for, you know, what they would normally pay for school, and then I had to pay for the rest. But I'm not sure how I did that. I don't remember. It was just something I did. And I can't believe it was so long ago. It just seems like, you know, just yesterday.
Dawn, did you have to catch up another semester afterwards?
I did not have to catch up because, like I said, I was still in my general ed, and my college credits did transfer from the University of Pittsburgh. Those 3 classes did transfer. I know a lot of people who, like 2/3 of my trip decided to go again on another trip. So I'm sure their college time was extended because they had more time away.
Dawn, is there more aid to students or to older adults like us?
I don't know that there's aid for older adults. I didn't look into that, so that's something you'd have to look into. Well, thanks for letting me talk. Oh, one other thing, I'm sorry. I found one of my journals from 40 years ago. Every day, you know, I'd write what we did and where we went, and it was kind of fun. Thanks.
Flashback.
Yeah.